Hey guys, this is Joshua Peterson here, Peterson Electric. I am sitting here at my house and I just wanted to do a quick video on a situation I kind of got involved in with work. I've been doing this 20 years as an electrician and 3 years before that as an appliance technician. So right now it is like just about November 2019. We are in the 2017 code. This video for my SEO guide, my wife, would be basically listed as should I be remodeling in my own home as an electrician when I am not licensed? A lot of homeowners will give me calls and say questions like, do you think my husband can do this? Or do you think I should do this? And they're asking me some very elementary questions. I don't think that's a fair question, nor should it be given a fair statement of yes or no, because I don't even know if you could change your oil or cook. So without knowing you and knowing what you could get into, I don't think that's something you should, but YouTube is definitely a place where people go for knowledge. I've gone on there a few times myself on certain things, especially if my car had an issue. I was trying to figure it out. Could I order a part? Should I just go to a mechanic? I think it's a great general knowledge and a great diagnostic there, but if you do not have a common basic mechanical understanding, I think this is a good point to show you. I went out to a house here this last week in Fort Collins, and I cannot discuss the customer's name, but they asked me to look at it. They did pay me for 2 hours to go through the house, and we went through all the code violations that we could see. That was just minimal, but crawled through the attic for 45 minutes, moving insulation, getting down into the main level, getting out to the panel. And here's the thing, it was completely a flop and a swap over, not really a fix and flip, because the two people that owned it were living there for a while, but one of them is in real estate and the other one, I don't know what they do, but definitely educated in their field as real estate, because they, we know better on certain applications of remodel. A lot of it looked really decent and nice, but it's like that old saying I like to say, if your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing are questionable behind walls, then it's like lipstick on a pig. As I got up into the attic, I wish I could show you the pictures that I had taken, but they're on my phone, so I can't. I saw number 10 gauge wire attached to some lighting circuits, somehow going down to feed an 8 kW freestanding range. Missing quite a few circuits that should have been, in general, just right there for the kitchen. So a lot of the older homes in the 60s might have maybe 6, 7, 8 circuits, but nowadays a lot of kitchens end up with almost 12 circuits, especially with these open concepts. So anyways, here's just a minimum of code articles that violations that I saw. I'll try to show you here on my computer if you guys can see that. Right through there. And so that's, yeah, basically Article 90, authority having jurisdiction, 100, workmanship, goes down to splicing, temperature, layout, grounding, service panels, arc faults, GFCI protection, trenching, switches, plugs, light fixtures, boxes, whole list. And basically that's just the minimum that I could list, because I didn't have more than, I think I was there 3.5 hours, but I only charged for 2. But anyways, so it was a pretty big deal. So the worst thing that I saw was that, once you touch your plugs and switches, of course, you got to look at how many circuits you got to update to that kitchen and that living room and the dining room and all that area that they did, which was like probably 600 feet of remodel, opening up walls. The attic splices were horrendous. And basically, all that had to go back to the panel. There was no more breaker spaces in this small square DQO panel. And it also had what we call 6-handle rule in 240. And so there was no main disconnect. It was feeding up with 1.25 inch EMT coming down about 6 foot away from the meter. So today's standard with Fort Collins Power, Loveland Power, Excel, 230.70A1 says in a readily accessible location. Does that mean back to back, 5 foot away, that you have a main disconnect? And the new 2020 code, that's going away, and you're gonna have to have that main disconnect outside anyway. So I buy a combo box. I've been doing it for years. For one, I like my customers to have a hot tub out back, or if they have an RV on the side of the house, or a kiln, or maybe a welder, they've got all that juice sitting right there. So we like to upgrade that to a combo unit box with a bypass lever, 5th jaw requirement by the power company, main disconnect, and then 8 circuit spaces below, and then feed 100 amp or 125 amp, maybe 150 amp lugs that are feed-through lugs going into the inside of the house. None of that was done. So we went out there and looked at all that, and it's a small little meter again that you would saw in my other videos, and guess what? The gas line, the gas meter, is right up next to the conduit. I can't even stand between the riser conduit and the meter and the gas meter. And so the newer standards today, though they did that back in the 60s, that doesn't count. There's no such thing as grandfather, grandmother, cousin, sister, brothering, whatever you guys call these things. Yeah, sure, if you don't touch it, you don't have to do anything. But the minute you touch the inside of that kitchen, the living room, and the dining room, in this scenario, they had to upgrade the panel. When they upgrade the panel, they have to go to 4-wire SER going outside. Once they do that outside, they have to move the whole service, and guess what? They had to trench. And normally the power company might trench or get a direct bore, but it's so old, and there's 2 gigantic historic trees that are older than this town that I doubt the city's going to let it just come down because they're not dead. So, and those go right on top of the feeder and the gas line. The gas line's probably 4-6 feet deep, and those feeders are probably 3.5 foot deep. And guess what? We have to abandon that, move the service to the back of the house, and then feed through the attic and get over to the new panel in the garage, having the main disconnect outside. So, my point is, if you don't understand anything I just said, you should not touch your electrical. You should be careful before you go open up your walls. They even open up a wall and moved a wall, and they'd probably have to have a structural engineer now because it was load bearing. And so there's a concern there too, where all my splices are up in the attic. Anyways, these guys just bought the house. I can't mention anything more than that, but they've only been in it 3 weeks, found all these little issues. It started out with a simple service call of, hey, why are my lights flickering in the bathroom? And then if that flickers, it flickers everywhere. Well, if you got up in the attic and saw how this little cut-in box was stuffed and barely made up correctly, that's the reason why. So anyways, don't want to make a super long video, but if you do not understand this stuff and it doesn't make sense to you, or you think you're going to tackle it because, some of the box store slogans, if you can do it, then we can help. The question is if you can do it. A lot of people think I'm fairly dogmatic and hard on DIYs, but the bottom line is that, again, as electricians, I stand behind all of us electricians in our field in the United States that is a very hard field to be in. And some of the other states I heard, like Wyoming, are way more strict than Colorado, such as having to be licensed to be in low voltage, which I totally think Colorado should have that, because those guys and their field slapping coax and Cat 5 all over homes are ridiculous, and especially in businesses, in the ceilings. But anyway, so don't want to stand on my soapbox, but yeah, I mean, if you're a master electrician or journeyman in RW, good, awesome, keep up the good work. But yeah, somehow YouTube thinks they're going to take over, or some of these other big, huge box stores are going to take over our field. They won't, because as we stay in this field for like I have for 23 years, you start to see more and more and learn more. But I humbly know a couple guys in the field that have been in it for 50 years, and I rub elbows with them as much as I can when I go to my my updating on my class meetings, because I always learn a little something more. But again, this isn't a competition. Again, YouTube is not an electrical academy, and Peterson Electric is not an electrical academy. Maybe one day, but not right now. So again, my YouTube videos were free for you, and we actually have to pay to get them downloaded. And some of the past ones, guys, I just want to say this real quick. I'm sorry about some of the issues that you guys have had. I had a phone with the speaker going out for about 1.5 years. I didn't realize. And the other issue that we also had was we're being lagged behind on some of our videos because we had so many. And there's only so many that we are allowed to do based on how much we pay a month for our guy. Which we could pay more and get them down. But again, it's free to you, but we pay for it. So hopefully one day it will kick back to us as you guys keep subscribing to us. And keep in mind, some of those old videos, I didn't say the code or the date when those videos were posted. So that is a big deal on when that can be posted and dated. And now I'm starting to do that. And I also took off the bottom banner. So I cannot go back and just take that banner off. It's impossible now. I can't even go back to those houses and do those videos again because it was on the job when I did it. And last point, a lot of people wonder why I'm charging people I do these videos. I don't. These videos are typically on a total bit of a job, and it's my time. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Bye.